programming the web, this subject, web technology and application development. I told you that there are many people who are doing their careers on this, learning new technologies and all that. If there is anybody who learns all the technologies that is listed in this subject, you can actually make your career and you can immediately start doing freelancing, develop some websites, earn some money. All that you can actually do by learning only this one subject. Okay, so take this subject seriously, all of you. So what we started in this subject is, first we understood what is the internet. I told you that internet is a network of networks. Then I told you about the client and server communication. The client sends a request, the server sends a response. What response does the server send? The server sends the response of documents that is requested by the client. The client can either request for static pages or document or dynamic pages, static documents or dynamic documents. If a static page is requested, the server simply picks it up and sends it to the client's machine. If a dynamic page is requested, the server executes that file and then sends it to the client's machine, and so on. Okay, which are static pages? HTML dot XHTML dot HTM .pdf, .txt, .mp3. All these are static pages. Which are dynamic pages? Any file with extension .php, JSP, ASP, CGI, PY. These are all dynamic pages. Okay. So we will come to dynamic pages later on, but only thing you remember right now is that when a dynamic page is requested, the server first executes it on itself and then sends the result of that execution to the client's machine. If the client has to request for something, the client opens a browser, and in the browser, then the client enters a URL. The URL contains the server name and the name of the resource that it is requesting for. The request then is sent by the browser to the server. The server picks up that file, either executes it if it is a dynamic page, and then sends the result back to the client's machine, which is received by the browser, and the browser displays it. When we design a web page, we use some language. Okay, to design the web page, we use HTML, hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language is a language which we use for designing web pages, and then many web pages come together to form websites, and then all these companies, businesses, industries, they have their own websites. Okay, they make a presence on the internet and they tell the world about what is the company all about. They share their products, they tell about themselves. They on the website, this shows photos of their companies and so on. Okay, that is how we develop websites. Now we have started learning HTML, hypertext markup language. It is a language in which there are a lot of tags, predefined tags which are meant to do something special. We have learned the different types of tags. We have learned the structure of the HTML document. We have learned the structure of the HTML document. And then we learned some very commonly used, popularly used tags like the P tag, the H1 tag. Then we learned how to place an image on a web page. We learned how to place a hyperlink on a web page to go from one page to another page, to navigate to another page from another page, like that. So we have seen how to place these elements on a web page. Yesterday's class, we studied about what is the meaning of lists. What is the meaning of a list? We have seen, I told you that there are three different types of lists. And then of course, yeah, for that we also learned what is the meaning of character entities. If you want to place some special symbols on the web page, then you use character entities. And then we have seen how to place this. Then we learned lists. I told you that there are three different types of lists: ordered list, unordered list, and definition list. What is ordered list? Ordered list starts with which tag? The OL tag. O stands for ordered, L stands for list. Ordered list. Okay, ordered list. And then after that, if you want to list something, if in case of an ordered list, it appears like numbers 1 2 3 4, like that. Unordered list, it appears as bullet points. Okay, we have seen that example yesterday, and there is one example which is given over here also. So you can see in the first case, this is an unordered list, UL, and you can see that there are bullet points here. And here you can see that this is OL, and you can see that there are numbers appearing here. So these are ordered list and unordered list. And I told you that there is one more type of a list called as the definition list, and I've written one example for that. I will just show it to you. In the D drive, there is a folder called as web. In there is one file I've written called as definition list.html. Okay, I'll just open the code first, open with notepad, and then you can see this is how it appears. Very simple example. It's a very, very simple example. So we have the HTML tag, we have the head tag, title slash head. So from here to here is the head tag. This is we know, and the body tag starts here. Okay, there is a definition list example. So I've written a title on the head of the page called as definition list example, and then I have h2 tag, then slash h2 tag, and then I've defined my definition list. So definition list is like this. It starts with a DL tag. How does the ordered list starts? With an OL tag. How does the unordered list starts? With a UL tag. How does the definition list starts? It starts with DL. DL is definition list. Then every item in the list should contain a DT tag and a DD tag. DT and DD. DT is definition title. DT is definition title, and DD is definition data. Definition data or definition description. DT is definition title, and DL is the start of the list. Now, when do we use a definition list? We use a definition list when the items actually is defining a particular word. It is each item in the list is a small paragraph. So I start the definition list like this, then I give a title to every item. Every item should have a title. So this is my first, from here to here is my one item in the list. So the one item in the list, like how otherwise in OL and UL, in ordered list and unordered list, we had a LI list item. Here we have DT and DD. So in one item, we have these two things, DT and DD. Every item should have a title. Every item should have a title, and every item should have a description or data. Definition data or description, definition description. So this is one item in my list, and this is the second item in my list. Okay, now let us see how this appears. Okay, so I'll save this. I saved that, and now if I come here and double click on this, see, you can see that this is how it appears. This is the heading H2. It defines what? Definition list example, and then this is the title, and this is the description. This is the title of the second item, and this is the description. So normally, whenever in a web page you want to define a word or you want to display something, and in this case here, if I open this, if I right click on this and say open with Notepad, I can write a lot of things here in the first. Okay, let us say I copy this, Control C, Control V, I keep pasting it like this. Okay, so my definition data, my definition description or definition data, this particular part I've made it very, very big. Similarly, I will just copy this, Control C, Control V, and I keep pasting it. So what I have done is I have put a lot of data in my definition data, and then the title is coffee, here it is milk, like that, and then a lot of things I've put into the definition description tag. So I save this file, save. So when I go here, if I refresh this, you can now see that this is the title and this is the description. So you can have a lot of description. Now you can see that it is all appearing in one line. Why? Because you know that if you want the browser to display something in the new line, you have to put the BR tag. So here I put the BR tag like this. So when I put the BR tag like that, okay, I save it, file, save. I go here, I refresh this. You can see that it now goes to the next line. So you know that whenever you want to display something in the next line, you have to put a BR tag and so on. So I hope by now you must have understood. So if you want to properly align this and all that, then you may have to put one more BR tag here. So you may have to put one more. Okay, so I'll just try to put that, and then I'll put this. Now let us see what happens. So I put BR tag. I put one BR tag here. I put one more BR tag here. I put one more BR tag here. I save it, file, save, and then I go here, I refresh. So you can see that it all comes one below the other. So this is the definition item title, and this is the description. Similarly, here also, if I put a BR tag, this also will come in new line. So I hope this is clear to you. Not much to understand and remember here. Don't worry much about this. This is something which is very seldom used in web pages. Seldom means sometimes, not always, not very popular. Okay, so this is something which is very not commonly used in web pages. But then you should know there is something called as definition list, and which are the tags which we use for it. We use DL to start the definition list, DT for the title, and DD for writing the description. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So we have learned, I told you from examinations point of view, this is a very important question. For 6 marks, they will ask you this. They will ask you, what are lists in HTML? Explain the different types of lists available in HTML. So you have to say ordered, unordered, and definition, and write the code for all of them. This will be asked for 8 marks sometimes, or 6 marks. Definitely they will ask this. So please remember that. So close that. Now let us go further. Okay, so this list is over. Now comes HTML5 semantic structure element. This is the new topic that I was talking about. This is what we are going to discuss today. Now, what is the meaning of semantic structure elements? I told you that HTML has undergone a lot of evolution. First, when HTML was introduced, it was not very structured. People used to write the tags sometimes in capital letters, sometimes in small letters. People wrote their web pages by not properly nesting the tags one inside the other. They never did that. And that's the reason why all these pages, HTML pages, so many pages, so many websites were developed. And all these pages which were there in all these websites were very, very unstructured. Were unstructured because some people followed it strictly, some people did not follow it strictly. There was no rule as such which could govern people and tell them that this is exactly how you have to develop your website. Write all the elements in small letters. Tags should be nested properly. There were nobody who told that when the internet started. So they developed their own ways. Then later on in 2003, it became a standard. In the sense somebody took lead. And who took the lead? There is an association called as the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C. It is called as W3C, World Wide Web Consortium it is called as. Now these people took lead and they said that now we have to have a standard for developing web pages. And then they introduce XHTML. XHTML, I told you, is strict compared to HTML. XHTML said whenever you want to start writing the HTML page, you have to first always start with the document type tag. Then comes the HTML tag. Then compulsorily there should be head tag. The head tag should contain the title tag. Then the head tag should close. The body tag should open. And inside the body tag, then you can have whatever elements you want. But all the elements, all the tags should be all small. It cannot be capital. And tags should be nested properly, and so on. They started giving rules, and then everybody started then following these rules. And later on what happened was, when people developed their web pages, it became more standard. Everybody started following that. Okay, why was there a need for standardizing this code? Because maintenance of the web pages becomes easy. Maintenance becomes easy. If a new programmer has to understand the code, it becomes easy if a standard is followed. That's the reason why they thought, they will standardize it. Then came a new form of HTML called as HTML5. So first there was only HTML, then there was XHTML, which was strict, and then there was something called as HTML5 later on, new version of HTML. Now, what was there new in HTML5? In HTML5, they started following the concept of the semantic structure. They started following the concept of semantic structure. Now, what is the meaning of this semantic structure? Though some rules and regulations were implemented, were allowed, all that were there, okay, but a standard structure of the document was not defined. However, people wanted, they could put their links wherever they wanted, they put the navigation wherever they wanted, they put the figures wherever they wanted. All that was there in XHTML also. It was there. They followed the rules, all small nesting, all that they did properly. But the structure of the HTML document was not standard. Structure in the sense, the layout. On the top, what should be there? In the middle, what should be there? On the right hand side, what should be there? On the left hand side, what should be there? At the bottom of the page, what should be there? So this was not decided. This was not there. This was introduced in HTML5. This was introduced in HTML5, and this is called as the semantic structure of the HTML5 document. This was introduced. Okay, so there is a little theory here of about all that, why it was introduced and all that. Okay, so in any web page, HTML5 said, according to the semantic structure, that there should be a header and a footer. There should be a header and a footer. The header should contain all these things. The footer should contain these things. Like that, they told in the semantic structure of HTML. And they told programmers to please follow these structure. Whatever you want to put in the web page, you put. For example, if I am developing a website for my shop, it's a medical shop. If I want to develop a website for my shop, they said you put the name of your shop, you put your logo, you put navigation bars from one page to another page, all that you add, no problem. Then you put images, no problem. Put content, all that you put, no problem. But follow a structure. Okay, on the top, there should be a header. The header should contain a logo, name of the company. Then it should contain navigation bar. Then it should contain the main article section of the page. Then finally down, it should contain the footer. The footer should contain information about copyright information, who developed the website, all that information. So in HTML5, in semantic structure, they define the structure of the document. And according to that, they said that every document should contain a header and a footer. And then they said that the header should contain, this is what they said, the header should contain heading groups. It should contain heading groups. Okay, and then it should contain the main navigation. Normally in a web page, what happens is on the top there is header. The header should contain logo, and then it should contain top navigation bar. You can see that this is top navigation bar, and then this is the main part of the page. So like that, they said that you all follow this, and then finally you have something called as a footer. Finally, you have something called as a footer. So they made it compulsory in the semantic structure in HTML5 to follow this particular syntax, this particular structure. Okay, so we know that the pages should contain, it should contain header and footer. Okay, and then it should contain, what should the header contain? The header should contain the logo. And remember that how do we add these sections to the page? We always use the div tag. I told you the div tag is used in HTML pages to define a particular section in a page. The div tag is used, the division tag is used to define a particular section in a web page. So we define a section by using the div tag, then we give an ID to it. We say ID is equals to header, and then inside this, we add a logo, we add a top navigation bar. So from here to here is my header. From here to here is my header. So this header contains a logo. It should contain the top navigation bar. Normally, you must have seen that in any web page, on the top there is always a logo, a name of the company, and then there is navigation bar. What is navigation bar? I will just show you an example here. If I go to mmec.edu.in, our website. Okay, now it is going to our website. So here, if you observe any website for that matter, there is a standard structure of a web page. Okay, on the top there is always some logo of the company, and then there is name. Okay, then you can see that there is a name of the college there, and then you have this navigation bar. You can see that there is a horizontal navigation bar. You can see this. So we have home, about us, academics, placement, media, facilities, library. You can see that there is this navigation bar. This is entire bar is a navigation bar. Why it is called as a navigation bar? Because from here you can go to some other page, you can navigate to some other page directly. And then you have the main section here, in which there is some images, some figure is there, and then the main section of the page on the right hand side, you can see this is notification area. This, you can see there is a notification area, and down you can see this is the footer. In the footer, what we have? In the footer we have quick links, small links we have. Then we have the links to go to Facebook, Twitter, and all that. Then we have address of our college, and then who has developed this web page and all that. This information is there in the footer. So normally, if you take any website, this is a structure they follow. This is the structure they follow. Okay, so we have the body, we have the header. In the header we have the logo, we have the top navigation. Top navigation, I told you, it is that horizontal navigation, links to go to different pages. Okay, and then there is a main navigation. In some pages you see that on the left hand side here, you have the navigation. Okay, in some pages you see, but in Maratha website we don't have that left side navigation here. But in many of the web pages, you must have seen that on the left hand side there is the main left navigation. On the left side also there will be links to take you to other pages. Okay, and then you have the main content. Okay, then you have the main content. Exactly, you can put some photo in the main content, and then they can be a figure tag. Can be a figure tag, and so on. Okay, so this is how we define the pages. Now, to define these pages in HTML5, we have some built-in tags. Okay, we need not always put it in the div tag and give ID is equals to left navigation. We have some built-in tags in HTML5. In HTML5, we have a header tag. We have a footer tag to indicate that this is the start of the header, to indicate that this is the start of the footer, to indicate that this is the start of the main section of the page, to indicate that this is the start of the figure, and so on. Okay, so you can see that this is how it appears in HTML5. Always starts with header. The header can contain heading groups. Then there is a nav tag. Nav is for the navigation tag. Okay, the top navigation bar tag, and then the header stops. So from here to here is the header. Then starts the main. Then starts the main. Then starts the main part of the page. So I say div id is equals to main. Then again, if you want in the main to have some navigation bars, you can have the navigation tag. Then there is something called as a section tag. This is the main section of the page. Inside that there is an article tag. In the article, if let us say you want to place a figure, then you have the figure tag. The figure, then place an image of the figure, then have figure caption, because every figure will have a caption. Okay, and then the article stops. And then all this you put it into a side. Okay, all this you put it into the a side. A side is defining one section of a page. A side is the tag which defines one important section of a page. For example, in one page, you might have multiple important sections. You might have important sections. Okay, one page will not always contain only one article. Let us say one web page of yours might contain two articles or three articles. So every article, if let us say it contains a figure, so you can place that figure and the entire theory of that article into the A side tag. A side tag, you add the article, you add the figure and everything, and then it becomes an important section of your page. So like that, you can have multiple A side sections in your web page. Finally, what you have to remember here is you have to remember the different tags which are available in HTML5 semantic: header, h group, nav, then nav tag, then you have the section tag, you have the article tag, you have the figure tag, then you have the A side tag, and so on. I showed you Maratha Mandal's website. So you can see this. Now what we have here is, if I want to show you exactly in Maratha Mandal website, where is the A side tag, where is the section tag and all that, you know, from here to here, from the top of this till here, this is the header tag, because it contains the name of the college, Maratha Mandal Engineering College, like this. Yeah, of course there is no logo here, but the logo should appear here, and then we have the navigation bar here. So this part is the header. Okay, then this part from here to here is the section part. I want the images to appear here when I slide. So when I click on that, it goes to the next image. When I again click on that, it goes to the next image. If I click on that, it goes to the next image, and so on. It keeps moving to the next images. Okay, now here this becomes the section. Then here, if you see here, see that you have two A side sections. Welcome to MMAC, and then there is an image here of madam. There is an image here of madam. There is this figure caption. This is figure caption, and then there is some theory about this. So this one entire thing is one A side. Now this notifications which appears, these are the notifications. These are the things that will be happening in Maratha Mandal Engineering Colleges. Some notification if I want to give, then I give it over here. Okay, then I give it over here. So this is another A side. So on my one web page, I have two A side. A side is important sections in your web page. So this becomes one A side, this becomes one another A side. Each A side should contain its header. If you want, it can contain its own header. It can contain a figure. It can contain figure caption. It can contain the theory. Here it contains a header. Then it contains links and all that. Okay, down if I go, then there is an image here, another A side which occupies the complete page, and then below that there is a footer. Below that there is a footer. So this is how web pages are developed. They are structured. First, you have to identify exactly what you want in the page, exactly how you want your web page to appear, and then accordingly use these particular tags to structure your web page. Which are the different tags available? We have the header tag, the header group tag, the navigation. Okay, then we have the article and the section. Article and section are the important parts in a web page. You remember that I showed you that there is a scrolling big images of Maratha Mandal that appears in the section bar. Okay, then A side, whatever important you want to place, always place it in the A side tag. It's an important part of the web page, and a web page can contain multiple A side sections. Okay, and then you have the footer. Finally, you have the footer. Okay, so and the information about all these tags, what they do and everything is given here. First, they're explained about the heading elements, how to place the header. So like that, you can see I have the header tag. It starts in the header tag. I have a logo. Then there is a heading. Then there is a heading called as fundamentals of web development. Then there is logo in the header. Then the header stops. Then the article starts. Inside the article, if you want one more header to come, so you can put a header, then put some heading, and then put a figure if you want. Figure tag you can put, figure caption you can put, all that. And this is how the header works. So this is about the heading. Then after that, what is the meaning of heading groups is given over here. I would want you people to please understand what is the meaning of heading and heading groups. In a header section, you can have heading groups. You can have multiple headings in the same line if you want. Then you use the H group element. You can use the H group element, and so on. Okay, so this is about header and heading groups. Similarly, we have the navigation section in the web page. I told you why do we use a navigation section. The navigation section defines some link which would allow you to go from one page to another page. Okay, all that we write it in the navigation element, NAV element. It is not navigation, it is NAV. Wherever there is an NAV, it knows that we know that it is the navigation tag. We have to mention all the links to go to the next pages there, the NAV tag. Okay, and then there is a little information given here. So on the top, you can see there is a header tag which contains an image, it contains a heading, and then immediately there is a navigation bar, NAV. Then there is UL. What is UL? UL is unordered list. And then there is LI, and LI is nothing but link to go to home page, to go to about us page, to go to the browse page, and so on. Navigation bar ends here, the header ends here. So from here to here is the header section containing the navigation bars and all that. Then there is information about what is the meaning of articles and sections. There is information about what is the meaning of articles and sections. I told you that every web page should contain a section part. If you want to define some section in our web page, in Maratha Mandal's web page, this scrolling of images, this particular part you can see, okay, from the left hand side to the right hand side, stretched in the entire width of the page is one section. And in this section, what I have defined is I have defined a image which is scrolling. So if I click on that, it goes to the next image. If I click on this, it goes to the next image, and so on. Okay, so this is defined in one section. Okay, then comes a side. Sections and articles are one and the same. Then after that comes the A side. I told you about A side is that the difference between a section and an A side is that section stretches from the entire width of the web page. A side you can place it wherever you want. Now you can see that this particular part, welcome to MMSC, and the message from our president madam, this message plus her photo and the caption of her photo, all this is put into one A side, and I can align this A side either on the left hand side, or I can align it to the right hand side. Like that, I can place it anywhere. Remember, A side, the advantage of A side is that you can align it anywhere you want on a web page. I can take this A side, define this entire thing in an A side and put it to the left hand side. I can define this notification in another A side and put it on the right hand side. Okay, and so on. So I can place the A side tag to any place on the web page. Okay, so that is that one difference that you have to understand. And then what is a figure and figure caption? I told you that every figure, if you want to place an image, you can place an image in the figure cap, and then figure caption is the caption that comes down. For example, which is given over here, you can see that this particular image is placed in the figure tag, and below that, what is this conservatory pond in Central Park? If you're able to see this, that is the image caption, figure caption. So that is written in the figure caption. You can see that figure contains the image, and figure caption contains a conservatory pond in Central Park, that comes below that. Okay, so if you want to place an image, always place it in the figure tag. Then comes the A side. I told you A side elements is similar to the figure element, used for marking content separate main it is to separate from the main content of the page. Okay, and one thing I told you about the A side is that wherever you want, you can align it to the left, right. Normally what we put in A side is what we put in A side is advertisements, notifications, like how it appears in Maratha Mandal website and so on. That is what we put in the A side. Okay, so all that information is given about the A side. Remember that. And then finally, this is the chapter summary. So this is the end of the chapter. I will continue with the new chapter in the next class. But this is what we have studied in this chapter today. Since I was going very slow, if you look at the syllabus, if you look at the syllabus here, we have still not started with introduction to CSS. We are still here. We have completed only this much today. Till today, in all the 9 classes, today is the 9th class, we have done only this much. Introduction to CSS, we are still in the first module. ninth class already today. There are 10 hours for this particular part, but I am yet to start with introduction to CSS, all that. Okay, it took a long time because it was worth it. It was worth it because you people had to be told about the basics of internet and all that, which I have done. Okay, and today's HTML5 semantic structure elements, I want you people to please read that content in the examination. Remember, this is important. They will ask you this question: explain the different tags available in semantic structure of HTML5 elements. They will ask you that question. So you have to say header tag is available, nav tag is available, footer tag is available, figure tag is available, figure caption, a side, section, article, all that you have to explain, and then you have to tell exactly where do we use those tags. Okay, it is given nicely in the textbook. You can read that once. Okay, I hope this is clear with you people. I've tried my best to show you some examples and then explain to you people the concept of the web. Now, I'm not going to start today with a new chapter. It's a new chapter here. Okay, we are still here. We have studied only till here. Then there is a summary of the chapter, and then there are some important words what we have studied. Then there are some questions. Okay, there are some questions here from the first chapter. You can just go through them and try to solve. Try to just orally solve if it is possible. Then later on, I will give you some assignments. I will give you some assignments where I will pick up some 3 questions from this chapter. 3 questions only, not many. Only 3 questions from this chapter. I will give you that important ones, which is important from examinations point of view and all that. But orally, you can just read this. What is the difference between HTML and XHTML? What is this? What role do HTML validators play in web development? All that theory is given there. What are the main syntax rules for XML? What are HTML elements? In fact, from here to here is not there for the syllabus at all. Then comes HTML. Introduction to HTML is where your syllabus actually starts. Okay, you can actually see here in the syllabus. Introduction to HTML is what starts in the syllabus. So actually from here your syllabus starts. What is semantic markup? We saw that just now. Why is removing presentation oriented HTML documents considered to be best practice? What is difference between standard mode and quirk mode? What role does the doc type play with this mode? What is the difference between p and the div tag? Okay, all these questions I will give you in the assignment. Okay, then there is hands-on practice. All that is there. Introduction to HTML. Okay, some assignments are there already, and then starts introduction to CSS. This is chapter number 3. We will be learning introduction to CSS in the next class. Meanwhile, I think I have 3 minutes left. I will quickly write an HTML document. Okay, I will quickly write an HTML document to design a web page of my own. So I write HTML, then I have the head section, then you know that it should contain the title section, my web page slash title, then I have the slash head, then the body section starts. You know, the body section starts, and here first I want to display in the center with a little bigger font. So I write, this is Naveed's website slash h1. I write slash center. That's it. And then what I want here to come is, I want of course whatever comes after this, I want to come in the next line. So I write the br tag, and then I want to write a h2 tag. Okay, then I would want to write information about myself. So I write that I am working in MMEC as all that. So I can write a lot of things, a lot of theory about me. I don't have much theory with me right now, so I'll just copy some content from here. Okay, some content I copy. I want it to appear like a paragraph, so I put all that there, and then here I put the br tag. After each line I want the br tag. Br tag, you know that it is a new line character tag. And then I don't want this to come in the h2. H2 will become too big, so I want to put that in the p tag. Okay, so let us say this is okay, and it is asking me where you want to save it. I say I want to save it on the desktop. I will call this as index.html. Index.html is the name I give to this. Now after this I want to place an image. So you know that to place an image, what do? We have the img src image src is equals to, then we give smiley, smly smiley dot jpg. Okay, we give that. Okay, and then after that, let us say I want some links to come. So if I want some links to come, then I write ul. I want the links to come. ul li ahref, you know that how to place a link. Ahref is equals to, you want this to go to some about me. So let us say that there is, so similarly control c, control v, all that. Let us say I have some, there is less than a minute. I don't know what time it is going to stop. Okay, but I hope that what I'm doing you understood. Okay, so quickly I will just close the body and close html and see how does this appear. So I saved the program by pressing control, and then if I open this, so you can see this is more or less how the website appears. Okay, I have, this is my website, then there is some theory about me.